All right, so we are going to do a little bit of intro on what this ACT science thing is all about, essentially. So my job here is to kind of give you guys those tools. Again, let's be very frank and clear. So I really would like for you guys to continue to come to these sessions. Myself and Mr. Parker are the ones that will be hosting these for the science section, because you're not going to come out of here knowing it all and getting it all in one session. But my goal is that through at the end of the session that you're able to take something away that you're able to apply. And so we strategically planned the sessions where you guys will have the experience in taking each of these sections, I think at least twice before you guys take the exam, the assessment in April and March. So we're going to be going through that. So today we're going to go through identifying the types of passages we're going to deal with, and how do we actually deal with those passages on their terms. So each passage that we deal with, there's a special set of rules or a special strategy that we need to associate ourselves with. We do not approach every passage the same. So let me ask you guys this. If we know that we can't approach every science passage the same, that means we need to define a strategy, right?
Yes.
All right. And so in order to define a strategy, you know, what do you plan on strategizing? It's like knowing the enemy. So if you ever are in a situation, you know, where you're trying to overcome something, you need to know what you're dealing with, right? And so how do we plan on knowing what we're dealing with is by identifying what we have. So the science section has 40 questions. And of these 40 questions, you're going to have 35 minutes, all right, to answer these 40 questions. And these 40 questions are going to be resemblatory of 3 types of passages. So there's 3 passages you're going to encounter in this ACT science section. The easiest one and the one that pops up the most frequently is what we call data representation, all right? So let me ask you guys, when you hear data representation, what kind of passages you think, what do you think is going to be asked, or what do you think is going to be attributed towards that? Hello?
Can you repeat what you said, Coach Reese? I had to get a piece of paper.
Okay. So when we hear data representation, right, what do you think data representation includes? When you hear if the passages are data representation, what do you think you were going to be assessing during a data representation passage?
Probably something being measured over a specific amount of time.
All right, so you think about some time that's involved. My pen's running really slow. Okay, let's do this.
Graphs, maybe.
Graphs, all right. So what else? So what about graphs?
Measuring an amount. I don't know.
Graphs measuring some particular amount. Okay. What else? What else you think?
I know it's not math, but maybe like determining the relationship between like X and Y.
All right. So you guys, that's exactly what we're doing, right? So data representation, they're going to provide you with some data, all right? And the questions that they're going to ask you is going to be based off the data. So if the questions that are asked are based off the data, what do you think would be an appropriate strategy to tackle these particular questions?
You said what would be a good strategy to go about the questions?
Yeah, if you know so we say data representation, we know there are some graphs.
Mm-hmm.
Am I writing? Come on, what's going on? My pen's not working. Oh, it's making me write with this ugly mouse. I have to do all this extra stuff. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get rid of that. All right, we're just gonna write it out here. It's not being my frame. We're just gonna get it. All right, so we got some graphs. What else do you think is gonna be on there? Some tables.
Yes, tables for sure.
So let me ask you guys this, right? If I give you graphs and tables, how do you plan on identifying what those graphs and tables are talking about? What else do I need to give you in order to make sure that can happen? My writing utensils aren't working, y'all. I'm sorry.
You'll have to label it, like describe what is on which place.
What's on the X and Y axis, right? So
Yeah.
essentially, a lot of these graphs, they're going to have what's called a key, right? It's going to have a key that tells you what things are related to. So when we're talking about data representation passages, this is how you're able to identify a data representation passage. It's going to have a series of graphs, very, very, very little information, very, very, very little verbiage, right? A lot of things is simply going to be, it's going to have just graphs and tables with data and information. And the question they're going to simply ask you is going to be, what would be the relationship of X and Y? So if I find, let's say we're looking at position versus time of something, right? If I say, this car travels 10 seconds, the car is traveling for 10 seconds. What would be that car's position when time is equal to 5 seconds, right? Well, we say if it's position versus time, anytime you think of a graph is labeled as Y over X, because that gives us slope, right? So when you talk about the title or the names kind of help you know what those axes are labeled as. So whatever the first title is on that graph, right, that appears on your Y axis, all right? The second part of that title is what appears on the X axis. So if I say position versus time, that means positions are going to be on what axis, X or Y?
Time is on the X and position's on the Y.
And position would be on the Y, all right? So you read the graph in that magnitude. So you want to be well versed in being able to read graphs and identify the information there. And so in order to figure out what that position would be, I will find position on the Y and I will track that all the way over until I get to that time, and I will go down to that time and it will tell me that, all right? That's one type of graph. You may have a bar graph or a pie graph. Those are different graphs, and all those graphs reveal different types of data and different information. So your job is to identify the questions and figure out what part of the graphs is going to be utilized to answer that particular question. So in data representation passages only, all right, you want to go ahead and address the questions first, because a lot of times the questions are going to be geared towards, it says in figure 1, what will be the relationship of X, Y, and Z? In figure 2, what is the most, what food source would dissipate over this period of time in relationship to some particular animal or something being there, right? Let me clear this up for you guys. And a lot of kids are so stuck on, I don't know science, I'm not good on science. Listen, you do not have to know all the science. You don't have to know anything about science to do well in the science section. It's called the science reasoning section. So what you have to be well at is how to strategize, how to identify those passages, and how to tackle those passages. And you can do well in that science section. So it doesn't matter if you're not comfortable in science, you can be extremely comfortable or extremely uncomfortable with science, but you still have opportunity to do well. And it's all about strategizing. So I'm going to teach you how to strategize to do well. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, the ACT is a strategy test. All right. So the easiest thing I'm telling you about the strategy, right? Don't waste time reading the directions. I tell everybody that. The reason why is because the directions in every section is the same. Your time is not going to stop. All right. So you take time to read the directions, which are going to say something general on the lines. Please read every question, choose the best answer that fits the question. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
All right. So don't waste time reading the directions. That's just a little trick to kind of get you guys caught up on those things. All right. When you get to data representation, being able to identify those passages, it definitely helps cut down on time. You say, oh, this is data representation. I know which strategy I need to utilize to get there. All right. The next type of passage that we have there is what we call a research summary. What do you guys think you're going to encounter in research summary passages?
Information collected on a specific topic, and they've probably done trials or experiments with it.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what it's going to look like. And so that's going to be more of a prose type piece. So it looks kind of congested. And there's a lot of data there. And the questions they're going to ask you are going to be about that particular research, right? And then not only just about the research, it'll be things in terms of, okay, if this research was to continue, or if this idea, this theory was actually able to go ahead and be brought to fruition, what will be the possible outcome? So it's a lot of inference things, and your inference that you make is going to be based off of the data that is already presented. So with these particular passages, You want to skim through the passage and also skim through the questions. I say skim through the questions first because it helps you identify what you're kind of looking for. But don't take time to read everything because it's going to tell you in that particular question what part of the passage it is interested in. All right. And then conflicting viewpoints. All right. So conflicting viewpoints, that's the one Ms. Jakisha was talking about earlier. So conflicting viewpoints, you're going to be faced with two or three or more scientists that have a general viewpoint on some scientific idea, right? Now, in this particular idea they have, they're just going to start off with a brief synopsis that's giving you a little bit of background, a little bit of insight about what's actually going on. All right. And then it's going to break down into the two different types of scientists and what their individual beliefs are. Now, in this particular passage, we address this a little bit different, right? We have to go through that passage. We have to read through that passage. We want to come with a key to kind of identify what is scientist one thinking, what is scientist two thinking, right? What are the beliefs? Where do their beliefs kind of come together, where they correlate, and where's the divide there? What evidence are they using to support those claims? Not only what evidence, is there any evidence that they're both using to support their claims? And if that's the case, if they have a simple piece of evidence that they're both utilizing, but they're applying it in their own retrospect, is going to ask you questions about, okay, which scientist is most likely to agree with this particular idea or theory or ideology? And those are things we want to kind of sort of address. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our time to go through and identify a couple of passages. So when I click on a certain passage, what I want you to do, just by looking at the passage, I want you to be able to help us identify. We're going to identify if it's a data representation, is it a research summary, or is it conflicting viewpoints? I want you to tell me, how is it that you know that it is that type of passage? Okay. All right. So we talk about the ACT. These are things that the ACT covers. Again, you don't need to know any of those things here. Let's talk about the breakdown of those things. So here's your breakdown of how these questions are going to happen. All right. So you are going to receive 7 passages. 7 passages is what you're going to be tested on in the ACT Science session. 3 of those passages are going to be data representation. All right. And they're going to have 5 questions each. So 15 of your 40 questions are going to be data representation. All right. Do very well in those sections. Those are the easiest types of passages that you're going to be faced with because every single answer is in the numbers. It's in the numbers. All you have to do is look at the numbers, understand the key, understand the guide, process through, and select the correct answer. Those are almost gimme questions. So out of the 40 questions, 15 of those are already gimme questions just based off of looking at the data. All right. So you want to pay very, very close attention to that data. The next 3 passages are going to be research summary questions. They're going to have 6 questions each. 6 questions each. All right. So we got 18 questions now coming from this particular section that's going to cover the research summary. Now let's think pragmatic here, right? Even if you're not very well in science, right? If you do generally well in each of those sections, I would definitely say you want to thrive in data representation, because you can thrive in the data representation, you can strategize to do fairly well here by knocking out about 2 passages very good, and then coming here and knocking out maybe 3 or 4 of these questions out Purdue, and that'll give you a pretty decent science score, right? It's all about strategizing. So if you're struggling in science, or if you struggle with science, kind of think of those in those terms. But always make sure you give a lot of your focus to those data representation, because those are the easiest ones. Those are ones you don't want to give up as free points. So because all the answers, all the questions are directly in that particular layout. All right. So just looking at this passage here, right? What would you guys say? Is this what kind of passage would this be? And how do you know?
The slides didn't change on my screen.
Oh, did the slide change for any of y'all?
No.
It hasn't changed for my screen either.
What are you guys seeing right now? Y'all ain't seeing nothing then. Oh,
Just
crap.
the introduction slide. Like, you can stop share and then share again, and make sure you click on your PowerPoint.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. I'm up here just talking and going through slides, and y'all
No
ain't
worries.
nothing. We're here, and I'm going here. What do you guys see now?
ACT Science, 40 questions, 35 minutes. And I see you're writing too.
Well, all right. Well, yeah. So when I was talking, I was trying to do a little writing in my pen. So I heard me say my pen wasn't writing for me. Like, that's what I meant. Like, it's not doing how it should. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I just need to just strap that. All right. So did that one. This lesson I was talking about the breakdown of those types of passages that are there. You got those there. Let's go here. So here's my passage here. So based on what we discussed in terms of passage, what kind of passage would you say this is? Is it data representation? Is it conflicting viewpoints, or is it going to be a research summary?
Is it a research summary? Oh, no, it's conflicting viewpoints, right?
How do you know?
Because it says scientist one and then scientist
All right.
two.
So when you talk about conflicting viewpoints, they look similar to this. Sometimes it may be data, sometimes it may be like a pro setup, but it's going to give you a general overview of what's going on. All right. So here's talking about some astronomers in recent decades. So general overview about what's going on, right? And then you have two different sciences that have two different conflicting viewpoints. They don't necessarily believe the exact same thing. All right. So let's kind of look at this real quick. So you guys take a brief little moment to go ahead and read that very quickly. And we'll talk about how do we go through this, because I need some pen. I need a pen for this one. Are we done reading?
I am.
All right. If you guys still reading, I'll give you guys about 2 more minutes on that really quickly. Get my pen and stuff set up over here. Hopefully I can get it fixed, because I do need this one right in my hand, right? Slap it right with a mouse. Where is my pen? All right, we're gonna go and start finishing up reading. So somebody tell me about some things you read about. What did you read about?
Whether or not dark matter actually exists.
Whether dark matter actually exists. All right. So that's the essential essence we're trying to prove, right? Does dark matter really exist, right? And you have two different scientists that thinks two different ways about dark matter. One believes that dark matter does, one believes that it doesn't exist, and they both provide their reasons in terms of why they believe what it is that they believe, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So let's talk about some things you guys discovered about Scientist One. So what information were you able to divulge about Scientist One?
Scientist one believes that dark matter does not exist.
All right, he said it does not exist, right? What claims did he identify that he choose to support that?
That galaxies could be formed without dark matter.
All right, and was there any proof to that? Because that's his claim. So what proof do you have to that claim? What would that come out of?
I think it's a little bit in the second paragraph.
Give you guys a hint, right? Give you guys a little hint, right? So there are two different scientists, and there's a piece in that passage where both of those scientists kind of quote or kind of relate to the studies that was done somewhere else, correct? And they both take an idea that they use that idea to support their theory, right? Can we identify that part? Anybody see that?
Research at Northeastern University and University of Victoria.
You say it again? Mike's cutting out. I hate this building.
I was just saying, like, Scientist one bases their claim off of research at Northeastern University and University of Victoria.
Okay. And Scientist two does what?
Talks about the University of California at Berkeley, and that's the only one I see. Oh, and Newtonian. I think they both mentioned
Newtonian. There you go.
Newtonian. Yes.
So what did they mention about the Newtonian? What information did they both divulge about the Newtonian?
Second paragraph of Scientist one says, although Newtonian physics may provide for the cohesive nature of solar systems, when applied to galaxies, the numbers do not add up. So that's how he's saying, like, that doesn't support how dark matter actually exists. But Scientist two uses this to say that it might exist because of the gravitational pull. So they kind of both use that thing to.
They kind of both use the same little things. All right. So in this particular section, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you want to do. This is how you attack this, right? So one, we want to kind of come up with some small little symbols, right? And now this has to be done very, very quickly. All right, very quickly. So as you skim through, you're looking for identifying what the similarities, right? And so things that they both have similar things, you want to come with a symbol that you can symbolize, right? So if I want to say S is going to be my term for similarity, right? I'm going to go through both of these scientists. I'm going to write an S by everything that they both have in terms of what's called similarities, right? This is Scientist one. So I can use the number one to identify things that Scientist one believes. And then when I go over to Scientist two, I can utilize the number two to identify things that Scientist two believe. And so every time I look at a comparison, and if I see one and two, that means they're not agreeing. But if both passages have S and S, and you can come with any numbering or any systematic method that you want. I just said S1 and S2 because it's something that we have here and something we can kind of look at, or 1 and 2. So you have to come with a way of kind of identifying that. So let's go through and let's identify some key information here. So let's identify some initial beliefs, and we're going to do this. I'm going to do this in a red color. All right. Let's identify some initial beliefs that Scientist one believes, and then we'll do Scientist two in blue, and then we will talk about where they kind of have similarities. We'll do that one in green. So again, you won't have coloring pencils and things like that on the ACT. So you have to come up with a systematic way of helping you identify that without the color. So again, symbols. So you want to use a star to say, oh, my star is going to be where these things are the same. My circle is where these things are different. So you kind of go through that. So let's do that really quickly. So what are we noticing? What do we notice here in Scientist 1? What are we seeing? So he says that
dark matter does not actually exist.
All right, there right there, something important, right? And this right here is also important because those things right there. All right, he's saying this does not exist, right? So why does he say that?
He's going off based on some research and also the sentence that you're underlining.
So tell me, I'm gonna stop underlining. I want you guys to tell me what you guys think is important to underline. So tell me, what should I underline here? What do you guys think? Even if you don't think it's right, we'll discuss why it shouldn't be underlined if it shouldn't. And if it does need to be underlined, we'll go to underline. So I need everyone's input here for me.
He makes a claim, although Newtonian physics may provide for the cohesive nature of solar systems, when applied to galaxies, the numbers do not add up.
All right, so keep going. What else? What else we see there? We're going to say he provided the cohesive nature of solar systems, right? That's okay, right? But is that like the meat? Is that the meat? What is that really saying? All right, that we don't really care about that part, right? What do we really care about here? Let's keep going here. What? Say again.
That's the start of his claim when he says the numbers don't add up.
All right, so what does that support?
The fact that Newtonian physics don't support dark matter.
All right, so let's keep going down here. What else do we see?
The sentence right after, because there is not enough visible matter for the various gravitational equations to balance dark matter, was theorized to make up this deficient. So I think he's saying that dark matter was made up as a theory to try to support something else, and that follows back to why he's trying to say it doesn't exist.
All right, so let's keep going down a little bit more. Let's check in this paragraph here, right? So what's in sport? What do you guys see as important in this paragraph? What about this? Y'all don't think this is important?
I think that one, and also probably the next sentence, maybe.
All right, we're gonna do that. Cast a little doubt on some controversial theories, the galaxy information and manipulation. Okay. All right. It says this theory does not explain everything, such as how large clusters of galaxies are able to bond to one another, but it does allow for already proven equations to explain the motion of galaxies without dark matter. All right, so that's something that he also believes there. I'm going to switch colors. All right, and let's talk about Scientist 2. Let's talk about Scientist 2 beliefs. What is his beliefs?
Dark matter exists.
All right, he says the dark matter exists. All right, so what is he saying here? Dark matter exists. He says without dark matter, there are what? Meaning cosmical phenomenons that are difficult to explain. All right, what else is he saying here? Look at that. Look at this right here about the Milky Way taking on an elliptical profile. Now, we've seen that somewhere before, right? Where else did we see that?
Scientist 1.
All right, where about did we see that with Scientist 1?
The third paragraph about saying how only a very small portion of dark matter was trying to be proven to help warp galaxies. But then he continues to say that that was kind of just one of the theories that doesn't really support galaxy formation. So
in this very instance right here, right, do we see some differences here? And we see where they're both kind of quoting certain things. So that right there should yell out to you, this right here may be important, all right? Because let me tell you, when you have questions like this, These are the types of avenues they're going to approach to see if you can catch little small things like that, to see where the similarities. This word appear both. I just paid attention to the word elliptical, right? And I see that Science One said something about elliptical, so they're like, oh, I need to zone in on that. And then that prompted me to read a little bit further, see what were they saying about things about elliptical and galaxy waves. All right, let's keep going here. What it says the interaction involves two smaller galaxies. All right, the name was not really important. What else?
I would underline an enormous amount of dark matter. I think because that supports what he's talking about how dark matter is assembled with the galaxy.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, what else you guys think is important there?
Maybe enhances the gravitational pull, but I'm not sure.
All right. That's not too important right there. Let's keep going down. All right. What do we see here? Let's check this out. What do we see down in this region here?
Without the existence of the dark matter, I don't know what that word is. Clouds would not have sufficient mass to have such a strong effect.
All right. That is really important right there. Good job. All right. All right. What else? Let's keep going down a little bit further. And let me actually, are you seeing how we're making the comparisons? Right now, you guys should be identifying. Now, we're taking our time doing this, right? This is where the practice comes in. Because what we're taking time to do right now, you guys will literally have to do this in a matter of about 2 minutes. No more than 2 minutes. That is a threshold that you have to make these analyses, all right? It is a very small window, all right? You really want to try to keep this down in under about a minute, but with 2 minutes, you can get enough information kind of piece through. So no more than 2 minutes on doing this, all right? But you really want to try to knock this out about a minute. Remember, you only have one passage like this. This is one of the most challenging passages because of the questions that are at hand. And you'll see that once we move to the next section really quickly, all right? When we get to going through these questions here. All right. So what else are you seeing here? Let's see. What do we hear? Well, what else we see that's pretty important here?
Would you include that sentence that says the strongest evidence for the validity? Validity, because I wasn't sure about that one because I think that was supporting his claim, but I wasn't sure just because of the extra stuff they included.
Now, this right here, this sounds really important, right? Because again, they're both using, boom,
Newtonian physics.
All right, and I should have did this in red, so don't do that. All right, they're both mentioning Newtonian physics, right? That's going to be really important, right? Because here we go. Since they're both talking about Newtonian physics, so here's the thing, right? If they're both quoting Newtonian physics, you can possibly say that they both at least agree that the Newtonian physicist has some type of information they both can kind of rely on, right? So would it be safe to say that they both agree that they can count the Newtonian physics as a reference, that they both look to that as a reference in their field?
Yes.
So if they look to that as a reference as a field, although they have conflicting viewpoints, they still have a point in which they will kind of they would agree on something, right? And it's the fact that they both will say that the Newtonian physics is a great source to kind of back up their field of interest, correct? Hello? Hello?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I was saying because we can identify they're talking about the Newtonian physics and they both would consider that to be a reputable, they're both pretty much likely to consider it to be a reputable source, correct? Let's say, okay, I believe what the Newtonian physics say. They both believe what Newtonian physics says because they're both utilizing ideas that the Newtonian physicists have come up with or principles they've come up with to kind of support the idea. So let's do this.
I would agree.
All right. That's very important. You want to pick out things like that. So that right there, I really should do it in green because here's where I can say, hey, they are kind of sort of similar. So we're seeing these similarities here. Again, we're picking out differences and we're also picking out similarities. Because all those conflicting viewpoints, they're going to ask you a question. I guarantee you they're going to ask you a question about, is there any point in their theories or any point in their ideas that these scientists could agree on or something of that nature? There's always going to be a question out there about that. And so you should be able to go through a particular passage and identify, hey, this is where they might agree on. And it's not going to be direct, right? So we have to kind of piece that one together just by looking at that. Yes, ma'am, Miss Lewis.
I wanted to give a tip, since you won't have different colors on the ACT. We use symbols. Okay, I use symbols like circles and triangles. Like when you're doing, like for scientists one, you can do triangles, and then scientists you can do circles. But when you see something that's similar, you can do a rectangle, because you won't have different colors. But using the symbols to mark different things and also similarities helped me gain my thoughts and also answer the questions, because I knew where to go back and forth to.
And that's a good point. So when I was talking about those symbols at the beginning, that's exactly what I was kind of addressing with you guys. So you do want to come with a systematic symboling way. This is why kids struggle with this, because it takes a little bit of a different type of thinking, right? So let me ask you guys this, right? At this point, have you had to know anything about what we're talking about to do well in this, understanding this, what we got going on here?
Not at all.
Not at all, right? It's all about how to strategize what's going on. So again, I'm teaching you guys the strategies. I'm trying to plug up before my computer dies. I'm sorry. I'm trying to teach you guys the strategies in which we can utilize to be successful in this, because all this takes to do well is strategy. And once you have a strategy down pat, you would definitely be successful. All right, let's keep going through this so we can answer a couple of the questions on this passage and see how you guys do on those questions. All right, we got some juice. Are we in? Oh yeah, we're cooking with fire now. Here we go. We are cooking with fire. All right, so what else do we see? This really should be blue. Sorry about that. We'll do this. We'll do this a circle. Circle, circle. All right, talk to me, y'all. Talk to me.
At the very end, he says something.
Oh, sorry.
Microwave radiation imply the existence of dark matter.
Say again.
He says measurements of cosmic microwave radiation imply the existence of dark matter.
All right. I haven't switched my colors, but it should be.
It's fine.
It should be blue. So I understand that should be blue. That's why I put the little circle there. All right. All right. So let's look at a couple of questions here. Y'all want to do that? Let's look at some questions here. All right. So here we go. So here's our questions, right? We said there's going to be how many questions for data representation? How many questions for data representation? Say again.
15.
Not data representation. Not data representation. Conflicting viewpoints. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Conflicting viewpoints.
Well,
how many questions are going to be in that passage? We said 7, right? Here's your 7 questions. All right. So let's look at this. All right. It says, which of the following statements is most consistent with scientist one's viewpoint? All right. It says the application of the theory of general relativity observed phenomena requires the inclusion of dark matter. Einstein's invented dark matter to cover up deficiencies in his theory of relativity. Newton's theories are completely dependent upon the proven existence of dark matter in the universe. New research shows that dark matter is not required to explain astronomers' observations. So which of the following statements is most consistent with scientist one's viewpoint? So what is scientist one's viewpoint?
That dark matter does not exist.
Right, the dark matter does not exist, right? So which of these can we identify as the correct answer here? And what information from the passage allows us to say, yeah, this is it? And I'll talk back through the passage for you guys as well. You guys there?
Yeah.
All right, what do you guys think?
Or can you go back to the questions?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I thought, what's my, y'all listen, my screen moving real slow on y'all. I apologize. It's been doing this all day at work. We may be on another cybersecurity hack.
Hopefully not, but I picked D.
You pick D? All right, anybody pick anything different? All right. Does anybody disagree? Is anybody gonna respond?
I kind of disagree with my choice. I was drawn between C and D because C seems like it could, but it didn't seem like the strongest to me. I feel like that would kind of go more towards scientists too, because since they said Newton's theories and everyone knows about Newton, like he created like a whole bunch of stuff. So if his theories were dependent on dark matter, then some people would think, oh, then it has to exist if Newton had his theories dependent on it. So that's why I didn't pick C, but I was kind of stuck on this one, so I just went with D.
Okay, who has another theory? Oh, you're fine. All right. So anybody disagree with anything? So it's not gonna be D. All right. It's not gonna be D. All right. So what do you guys think the correct answer should be?
It could be C.
You said a C. So it says new theories are completely dependent upon the proven existence of dark matter in the universe. But we already know scientist one does not believe in dark matter, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So which of these do you think he will most likely kind of come up with what he will most likely kind of agree with? Which is most consistent? Now, think about it. The key word here is consistent, right? It's not asking you which one is right, which one is wrong. It's saying which of these points would scientist one most likely have consistency with, right? Well, this talks about inclusion of dark matter. Well, if I'm against dark matter, I can't talk about the inclusion of dark matter. Okay. This says news theories are completely dependent upon the proven existence of dark matter. News theories are completely dependent upon the proven existence of dark matter. Well, they both believe in Newtonian physics, right? And so if they both believe in Newtonian physics, they trust it as a source, but science one does not believe in dark matter, but you're saying that it's dependent upon the dark matter. That's not going to be correct, right? New research shows that dark matter is not required to explain astronomers' observations. And it says Einstein invented dark matter to cover up deficiencies in his theory, right? So if I don't agree with dark matter, if I don't believe dark matter is really a thing, right? Between the two that we have left, which is B and D, which of these you think will be the correct answer choice?
B?
B, because this is where it completely says, which these aligns with, I do not agree with dark matter. This is the only one that doesn't necessarily agree with dark matter. So those two that kind of talks about dark matter, those are initially out. They're already out. Why? Because I don't believe in dark matter. As scientist one, my belief is that dark matter does not exist, right?
Right.
All right. Let's look at the second one. It says, according to the passage, a similarity between the two viewpoints is that both scientists believe what? So what is it that both scientists believe? So again, similarities. I told you guys I was going to ask you guys questions about similarities, right? So where is the similarities here? So according to the passage, a similarity between two viewpoints and both scientists is that both scientists believe that dark matter has little to no effect on the galaxy's shape. There are still many unexplained cosmological phenomena. Cosmic microwave radiation suggests the presence of dark matter. Dark matter can easily be observed in the universe. Well, similarities. It's saying that it can be observed in the universe. That means that scientist one does not agree. I mean, that means scientist one now agrees that dark matter exists, right?
Right.
So that automatically goes away, correct? So now we're immediately left with three answer choices because it's talking about similarities. So the only time we're going to have similarities is one thing that we can possibly agree on. So is there anything that we discussed or anything that you have read or that we might have missed that addresses a similarity between these three? Let's go back and look at it. You guys see anything?
The last paragraphs, like at the very bottom of both scientists, they say that not everything can be explained.
Right, not everything can be explained. All right. So I'm sorry. What are you saying here?
I'm saying that G is the right answer.
So you're saying G. All right. So that is correct. All right. They both agree there are still some things that are not explained in terms of this cosmological phenomenon. Good job. All right. Are you guys feeling a little bit more comfortable with this?
I am.
All right. So as you go through this is the process. So every time we meet, I'm going to teach you guys how to attack these particular passages here. Let's look at number 3. All right. So it says, which of the following best summarizes scientist two's position? Well, scientist 2 believes what? That dark matter
exists.
That it does exist, right? So of these four answer choices, which answer choice best supports scientist two's position that dark matter exists? Is it A? Is A, the existence of dark matter is a scientific fraud perpetrated by astronomers and physicists. The existence of dark matter is probable based on current and available evidence. Dark matter is misnamed because it is visible using modern instruments, or dark matter is no longer necessary, is a necessary part of general theory of relativity. Well, scientists too, we know that he believes it. So C and D are what?
Eliminated.
They're eliminated because that definitely contradicts what he believes, right?
Correct.
So we're left between two answer choices. Which of these answer choices do you believe would be the best answer choice? And what evidence from our passage do you think believes? I'm going to switch back. Do you need to go back to the passage or you guys got it?
I'm good.
All right. What do you think your answer choice is?
I picked B.
You say B?
Yes.
All right. What do you guys say? Anybody say anything different? Good job. All right. That is our answer choice. The existence of dark matter is probably based on the current available evidence. All right. So let's look at number 4. Which of the following statements would both scientists 1 and 2 most likely agree? Oh, where would they most likely agree? So which of these here do you think they will most likely agree on? Astronomical observations are known of the known universe are of no value when it comes to explaining the Milky Way, the shape of the Milky Way. Warp galaxies are convenient fiction created by astronomers and physicists. Newtonian physics can account for the existence of warp galaxies without resorting to dark matter as part of the explanation. Warp galaxies such as the Milky Way presents an astronomical puzzle and is worth investigating. I got to get glasses. Not like this print getting smaller and smaller. What do you guys think?
I think I'm wrong, but I went with H.
All right. Why do you think you're wrong?
Because I was looking at one of the other ones, and it's kind of like one of those answers is trying to make you think it's right, but it's actually not, just because it mentions something like that. Like right there it says warp galaxies such as the Milky Way. Both of the passages mention that, but it doesn't say, that's not the main point of what
It's
they're
not the
trying to
main
prove.
point. So don't, and I'm glad you pointed out, do not get caught up on that. Do not get caught up on it. The correct answer is H. The correct answer is H. Remember we talked about they both would consider the Newtonian to be a valuable resource, right? And so the Newtonian physics, they kind of make some statements there in terms of those warp galaxies there. Can you guys identify those? What are they saying there?
Oh, I think someone was talking.
All right. So what do you guys see there?
Paragraph 2 of Scientist 1 and paragraph. Did you hear me?
You said paragraph 2. I'm at paragraph 2 of Scientist 1. And what did you say about Scientist 2?
Paragraph 2 as well.
Paragraph 2. Good job, right? So that right there supports our answer choice. So you're right. So do not get caught up. That's what it's for. So so that's why it's really good to see how these symbols kind of work out. So I know I'm using colors just because it's easy for you guys to see what I'm doing now. But like Jakisha said, definitely those stars, the circles and triangles, that definitely helps out. And you can come with any numbering method you want, any symbol method. I've seen kids do 1, 2, and 3. 1 is for the first one, and then 3 is where they kind of come together. So you guys, you define what is going to be your systematic way. What I do encourage you guys to do, whichever symbolic way that you choose, however, use that in your practicing and also carry that forward. So if you're going to say it's going to be shapes, keep it consistent throughout. Keep it consistent throughout. So anytime you take AC, use shapes. That way you get in the habit of practicing and you get in the habit of saying, okay, muscle memory. Oh, this is what my similarities, and then make your job a little bit quicker. It'll make it a lot quicker for you. Let's look at number 5. It says scientist two's position will most be weakened by which of the following observations? So which of these will weaken scientist two's position? So let's read our answer choice here. It says the Magellan clouds actually move more quickly than previously thought. The Magellan clouds are actually more massive than previously thought. The Milky Way is warped more than previously thought. Or UC Berkeley computer models are more accurate than previously thought. So which of these will weaken? Which of these which science 2 position be most weakened by this? So which of these have the most effect on weakening his position? Let's look at what science 2 believes. All right. So what is here that you guys are seeing here? Do we see it?
I'm seeing it in the first paragraph where you have all that blue.
All right. Tell me exactly what it is that we see. What do we see?
The one that I got like 2 sentences. The first one that I first saw was, this interaction involves 2 smaller galaxies called the clouds near the Milky Way moving through an enormous amount of dark matter. And then it continues to say how it enhances the gravitational pull. And then the next sentence would be, without the existence of the dark matter, the clouds would not have sufficient mass to have such a strong effect. So that means you could probably eliminate the question where it says the clouds may be a lot bigger, possibly. Or maybe I have it backwards.
All right. So no, you're right. So which of these most likely weaken that? Which will weaken scientists too? So let's look at scientists too. All right. So here, what is he referring to? Look at what is he using to provide his evidence? What he says.
The clouds and the computer models at the University of California, and also how the clouds.
University of California, where? At Berkeley, right?
Berkeley, yes.
Now he's using the models at the University of California at Berkeley to support his theory, right? Well,
Yes.
What if those computer models were much more accurate? If they're more accurate, that changes the whole perspective, right? Which means that dark matter may not exist. So that's going to weaken his claims, because here he's saying, what about this? And if you go back up to the top, what is it saying? You need to read into that part right there. And finds more material close to galaxies. That's important there. All right. So look at the comparison between the things I just highlighted and what we were just saying here. All right. So within that comparison, we're saying basically that if Berkeley kind of updates their model, or the model is more accurate, it's going to discredit a little bit of what I'm saying. So it may not necessarily prove everything I'm saying is wrong, but it's going to give some type of discreditation to what I initially said. So the correct answer should be what, ladies and gentlemen?
D.
Should be D. All right. According to the passage, the main point of this disagreement between Science 1 and Science 2 is that what? What's the main point here? This is the easiest one.
F.
F, all right? They're both having a refute about does dark matter exist or not. Science 1 believe it does not. Science 2 believe that it does. All right, and then science is number 7. Not science is number 7. Question number 7. Science is number 1. Science's number 1 position will most likely be weakened by the revelation that Einstein's general theory of relativity is significantly flawed, the appearance of several newly discovered warp galaxies similar to the Milky Way, the discovery that previously eliminates the mass of galaxies were too high, proof that Einstein was aware of Newton's theory at the time he postulated his general theory of relativity. So let's go back to Sciences 1. What do you guys notice in here in Sciences 1?
Can I read the question again?
Yeah.
Okay, can I see the passage now? Unless everyone's still reading it, so.
Anybody still reading? All right, we want to go back to the passage. There it is. Sorry, I was getting my stuff back organized from earlier today. You still reading?
I finished reading.
All right, so what do you got? What do you think the answer choice is? Oh, no, what are you doing? Are you guys still seeing the screen? Because it just gave me a weird noise. Can you guys still see?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not tech savvy. Listen, I'm a young old person. I tell people that all the time. Get about no more, nothing more about technology than anything. I can go to Google, I can take a picture. That's about all you're gonna get out of me. Just learned how to screenshot this morning.
Really?
No,
Oh, man.
I'm just joking.
You know, I was gonna say you gotta get it in gear.
I'm just joking with you. All right, so science one position be most weakened by which of these? The revelation of Einstein's general theory of relativity was significantly flawed. All right, the appearance of several newly discovered warped galaxies similar to the Milky Way, the discovery that previously eliminates the mass of galaxies were too high, proof that Einstein was aware of Newton's theories at the time he postulated his general theory of relativity. What do you guys think? You guys are mighty quiet. Help us out. Talk to us.
I'm gonna go with the educated guess and say C.
You're gonna say C. So tell me, I don't want you to use educated guess. This is practice. So I want us to kind of go through and make sure we have that. Now, if C is your choice that you choose when you're in a bum rush, that's fine. All right, let's look at it. All right, so you say C says discovery that previously eliminates the mass of galaxies were too high. So what? You don't go back. All right, what claim here supports that?
I said that because of paragraph 2. Well, actually, because of the previous question where it was saying that, like, if the models were proven to be more accurate, then we were saying that it would discredit what he was saying. So it will weaken
not
scientific.
necessarily discredit. It will weaken. It will weaken. Not discredit.
Yes.
It'll weaken.
Yes, so that's kind of where I got my answer for number 7. I kind of saw the questions were kind of similar, but they were just asking about the 2 different sciences, so that's kind of what I based it off of.
So C is not the correct answer. So in order for us to determine what it is that will weaken that, we need to look at we need to think about what do they think, right? And so let's go over here. What is he thinking, right? So he says, this new research is based on Einstein's theory of general relativity. His new theory, it says this new research. So his new research is based off of this, all right? So if he's basing off of this, let's say if Einstein's theories were flawed, right? Or there were some flaws in that theory, that would totally discredit what he was thinking, right? These two, so it's going to be between A and D. It's going to be between A and D. All right. And so they both, they're very hard to kind of tell the difference between. But here we go. When we look over here, what tells us is that says this new research is based upon Einstein's theory of general relativity. So if your theory is based off of this, if this is one of the initial things that's going to help you postulate your particular idea, if that theory is flawed, that means everything you've studied, everything you've proposed in terms of that is also what? Flawed. So the correct answer here will be what?
A.
This would definitely weaken scientists one things, because if you believe something and it comes out that what you based your evidence off of was not even true in the first place, and you may not have been aware of that. You may have discovered through research of yourself that there were some flaws there, right? Then that discredits everything you've done. It's like, oh man, I've gotten to this point. Wow, I guess research has proven otherwise. That's the purpose of research. So when we do research, we're looking at things, and sometimes we discredit things, sometimes we prove things, sometimes we further enhance the knowledge of things. And that's why as you go through this, you want to kind of start thinking in terms of that, in that process there. All right.
That makes more sense.
Let's try one more. All right. And I'll post because I had an entire PowerPoint, all those things in there, but I think I'm going to break it up and post bit by bit, because the other PowerPoint I was going to upload it's a complete science test. So I think we're going to kind of chunk it a little bit and do bit by bit. So let's look at the next one really quickly. We have a little bit more time, and if you guys have to go, I definitely understand. All right, so here we go. So just by looking at the passage, just look at the passage right now. I want you guys to help identify the type of passage this is. What kind of article are we dealing with?
Data representation.
You say data representation?
Yes, I say that because of the tables.
All right, because of tables. All right. So you say it's the tables. So that's a good way of looking at it. All right. There's some other things that we need to look at too. All right. What are some other things we need to look at? So this is a little tricky one, right? It can be either data representation or what?
Research?
Research summary, right? Now, which of these do you think is most likely about? What data is it giving to you? It's not, is it, what are you seeing? Tell me what data are you really seeing? So data is going to be filled with a lot of graphs, a lot of things in terms of graphs and capitulations, right? This is just proof of some research, right? This kind of showing like what kind of research they've got. So this would be a what kind of passage?
Research?
A research summary. Let's see, I can show you what a data representation passage will look like, just so we can see that as well. Let's stop the share. That's all right. It's been a long day. Yeah, we'll do that. Why are you not being my friend? Come here. Go out the way. Out the way. Oh, I got one in here somewhere. Let's type this in. Here's what a data representation looks like. It's just like a brief little general overview. I'm going to share the screen with you really quickly. So questions on data representation look general like this. Actually, I need to show you a passage more so than a question. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, I'm getting, oh.
Coach Reese, I'm sorry to put you to the trouble. You don't gotta look it up if you can't get it.
I was trying to find, like, I like to give you, I try, man, I try. I got it in here somewhere, I just gotta find. I look, I had my flash drive and stuff filled with so many things. Yeah, I know I do 1,001 things. I'm sorry about that. Let's just go back to where we was at. Which PowerPoint were we on? We was on this one here. All right, so let's go ahead and read that passage really quickly. You guys seeing the screen now? I know you're not. I'm gonna share. We're gonna go here.
Yes, you can see it now.
Ooh, sorry. I'm sorry. Need some tissue. I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Actually, I can hold it a little bit longer. Are you guys still reading?
I'm just about finished.
All
Yeah,
right,
me
no
too.
problem. Now, today was just a day we kind of going to go through. Now, I will tell you guys this: we are going to have sessions where I'm going to time you guys, right? So when I time you guys, is going to be is you won't have as long to read. So we want to talk about the average breakdown, how much time you should spend on reading those, and so I want to kind of like do that. But what I want us to focus on now is how do we go through and how do we do it. So I want to start with the how first. So that's what we're focused on now. Okay. You know I have my keys over here. When you guys are ready for me to switch to the questions, I'm gonna switch to the questions for you guys. And you guys have to lead a sign. This is office hours, so we're doing this for office hours. So if you need to go, then I understand. But I would love for everyone to stay. You guys ready for your questions?
I'm ready for the questions.
Oh, I'm gonna get this Gatorade bottle in my room. No, Coach Reese don't do track in the classroom. They owe me when I see them Monday. Man, my kid left a Gatorade bottle in here. I'm about to get him. I don't do that trash in my classroom. All right, so let's get our questions. Are you gonna go to the questions? Ain't nobody asking you to move, now go to the questions. Okay, we'll just do this. All right. Here are your images that is kind of referring to for figure 1. I couldn't fit them all on one page, and I'll just talk in between. So let's look at question number 8. All right. And this one, so I want you guys to kind of look at these and read through these on your own, and we'll discuss those. So go ahead and if you need me to toggle back, just let me know. We'll do that. But go ahead and read through both of those, and then and choose your best possible answers, and we'll discuss the answers you have chosen. So I want you to kind of work through this independently, okay?
All right.
All right. And since we got 2, 4, we got 6 questions. Let's try to knock this out in about no more than a minute and a half. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what we can get. 2 minutes tops. Sorry, y'all. It's been a long day. I gotta drop this off in the mail for a parent. We done?
These questions are like really hard to put answers to because it's so dependent on like the tables. So you'd have to like toggle back and forth.
Oh yeah. So if you guys need me to toggle, just tell me to toggle. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So tell me whatever you need me to toggle to. You let me know. That's what I'm here for. So you need the picture, you need your figure, or you need your table information.
The table information for a moment.
Okay.
Coach Reese, can you go to the picture, please?
Yes. There you guys go.
And if everyone's finished with the picture, I'm ready for the questions to look at again.
I'm ready for the questions.
All right. You guys ready to answer?
I think I am.
Me as well.
All right, so here we go. What did you guys get for the first one? What do you guys think the correct answer is for our first one? So what do you guys think it is for number 8? What do you think? What do we think it is? And tell me why is that you chose that to be your answer? All right, what do we have for what do we have? So what do you guys have for number 8? Hello?
I'm still here. We're still here.
All right. So what do we have for number 8? What is our correct choice? According to the passage, which of the following fungicides should be reapplied frequently?
I said F, but I've done this passage so many times. I think that I misread it.
All right. So tell me, why did you choose F?
I think because I accidentally looked at the table and said it says according to the passage. So the answer is like directly into the passage. I think it's the bottom one on the 7th slide. Is that the passage?
Bottom one on the 7th slide.
Yes, on the right side, below table 2. Yes.
Uh-huh. So I'm gonna tell you that. What do you think? I'm sorry. Is that Miss Virginia?
Oh, I go by Gina.
Gina. Yes, ma'am. Miss Gina. I matched the voice. I'm sorry. Miss Gina. So what do you have? What do you think?
I thought of F.
F. You guys are correct. It is F. So let's talk about the reason why it's F. So what can we identify in the passage that tells us that it's F? Keyword, contact what? Contact fungicide. What it tells about those contact fungicides?
It's only a protected only, and there's no penetration to the leaf tissue.
All right.
It's only active on the surface.
So if it's active on the surface, that means let's say there's a big rainstorm that comes by, or a shower, or someone's outside having a water balloon fight. Anything that's just, if it is not penetrated, that's gonna have to constantly be reapplied. Because I mean, any type of water, any type of moisture, what happens to that if it's just on the outside? It can be washed away, right?
Yes.
Right. So we think of it in terms of think of gross contamination. So gross contamination is things that's just like on the surface, just like outlying, right? So you think about trash that's lying around the classroom or something. That's considered gross contamination. Things that's like big and like right there that can easily be picked up or easily brushed away. So those are like gross contaminations to that particular flower. You can literally take any type of solution. It can just happily douse by. You can be going by. Let's say you have that particular plant that's using that fungicide outside of your house, and you decide to throw your cup of water or your cup of tea or your cup of coffee out the window, right? And it lands on it. It washes it away because it's not penetrating that particular surface. All right. Let's look at question number 9. What do you guys think for number 9?
I put C.
I got C too.
What are you doing, little computer?
They really
All right,
trying
what do
to
you have
attack
for
you,
9?
Coach Reese.
Hey,
Me
listen,
and Gina both said
don't
C.
say this is the first day I brought my computer back to school. I'm using my MacBook at work. It's the first day I've done it since we've been hacked.
Man. But yes, me and Gina said C.
You said C? Good job. C is the correct one. So what evidence do we have there? So you guys are 2 for 2. Outstanding. Amazing. All right. What evidence do you guys have that promotes that?
It said that it wasn't effective after the R5 stage.
After the R5 stage is not effective. Good job. So based off what we have there, so doing stage gross application should be least effective, is going to be the R6. That's the only stage that takes place after the R5 stage. So in research summaries, you should see how the data or the research you have is going to support that. So it gives that information. Majority of the questions that you guys have is from what? The data or from the passage. Where you guys realize the majority?
You said majority of the information?
Yeah, where's majority of information coming from? The passage or the tables?
The passage.
The passage, and that is how you are able to identify the difference between data representation and research summaries. Research summaries, your passages are going to give you more detail. There's going to be more passage information, more verbal information. addressing. The tables are just their aesthetics. They talk about a little bit of things, give you a little bit of depictions, right? When you talk about data representation, majority of your context, majority of your questions, and majority of answers are going to come from the data. So that is one primary distance we can really look at it. If your data is not giving a lot of information, it's going to be a research summary. All right. And so in research summary, you do read the article first in research summaries because a lot of information is going to be given to you in the what? In that particular summary. All right, what do you guys have for number 10? It says a student claims that the application of a systematic fungicide will only prevent the growth of fungi if applied after growth stage 5. Does the passage support the claim?
I thought it was G.
You think it's G? What do you say, Jakisha?
I also said G.
Say G. That is correct. It is G. So what proof you guys have? Why do you choose G for that?
Kind of also going back to about the R5, they kind of said that they did say that if you apply the protectants after stage 5, they're going to be ineffective. And also when we were talking about the fungicides, I think that in the first little bit when it was talking about describing the disease, it was talking about how when and where they're active and like what part of the plant is most vulnerable to it.
All right. Excuse me. And so the most crucial point to do this will be between stages 1 and 5. So G is the correct answer for that. Good job. You guys are 3 for 3. You ladies are doing wonderful here tonight. All right. So what about number 12? So equal amounts of that is astrobine, boscalide, and butanol. That doesn't like that. I think I just butchered that, but it's okay. Were applied to 3 different soybean plants during growth stage 3 after 24 hours. Each plant was sprayed with water. Based on the data, which of the following represents the order from least effective to most effective of the fungicides like pretty much preventing ASR? So what is our answer for? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped to number 12. Number 10. According to the passage. 11? Yeah, number 11. According to the passage, if fewer than 400 spray droplets per square inch of, we're just gonna skip over that one because were applied during growth stage 2, the chances were that the soybean plant will become effective with ASR would be most likely what? So what is 11?
I said D.
D. All right. What do you say, Gina?
I couldn't remember what kind of what that chemical was, so I chose B just in case it was a fungicide.
All right. So the correct answer is D. All right. The correct answer is D. What proof made you choose D?
Because I think I kind of forgot from the passage, but when I was answering it, I remembered that you have to spray at least a certain amount before something to be effective, and it says like fewer than 400, and sometimes you would think, oh, like 399, but no, like they're assuming, like, think about someone just sprayed 1 drop. That's not going to do anything. So I said increase only, because if you don't even spray the bare minimum amount, then it's not going to be any effect.
All right.
It's not going to have any effect.
And so the key thing is that this fungus generally attacks where? The key thing we should take away is that this fungus generally attacks where? What part is attacked first? The lower part, the lower canopy, right?
Yes.
So it says right here, it says infection generally begins in the lower leaf canopy, right? Where humidity is higher and the leaves stay wet for longer periods of time. So we need to make sure we get those sprays in so we can make sure we can address that lower part. So we need to make sure that part is taken care of, because that's where that infection is going to start. So we treat the area the most, or we treat the area more effectively, then we can kind of bypass that. So now we're on question number 12. Number 12, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's go to that real quick. All right, so I've already read the question. We'll go back through it, but it says, based on the data, which of the following represents in order that, and let me you guys say you guys trick too. So everything up here. All right.
Yes, we can see the question.
Yeah, say again.
I was saying that we could see the questions.
Okay, yeah. So everything that's here, you guys can you can kind of go past this part. You want to kind of restart right here where it starts, and it's based on the data there. So what do we have for number 12? What do you guys think the answer is for 12?
I think that I put H for this one.
H. Okay. What'd you put, Gina?
H.
H. Why did you guys choose H? Why does H seem like a good choice for us here?
It said least effective to most effective. So you were just looking at the tables. Table 2 to be more precise, because it was saying like what kind is the contact procedure, the systemic procedure, and then look back at table 1 to see which fungicide is in what category. And so contact is the least one, that would be the least effective, but systemic would be the most. So out of the choices they gave us from the answers, I just matched them up with from table 1.
Good job, and that is great. So I guess it's just a pause for brain break. So guys, when you talk about systemic, systemic is you're talking about the stem, the leaves area there. Think about that as like subcutaneous, right? Like the skin. So when someone says subcutaneous, that is below the skin. Cutaneous means skin. Sub means below. So sub skin. So systemic is similar to that aspect of the leaf. So just verbiage, just things that kind of just no tidbits kind of make aware of. All right. Let's look at number 13. All right. So number 13. Number 13, it says, according to figure 1, which of the following stages in the growth of the soybean should fungicide not be applied to? Should not be applied to.
I said C.
Yeah, because if it was at the full flower, then it would be past the R5 stage, right?
Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So C is a possible option. Is there a better choice? So C is not correct. So were you guys like contemplating between two choices?
I
Beginning
was.
pod.
All right, what was your other choice you contemplating between?
Yeah, what Gina said, D, beginning pod.
Beginning pod. All right, so the correct answer is B. All right.
Oh,
So research showing that the most critical time for us to protect the soybean is where? It's from R1 through R5.
Yes.
All right. So because the growth stage is in 6 characterized by full seed, we can't, it won't be effective there. So B will be the first one because in 6, it's a full seed. All right. We want to make sure we stop that before. All right.
Oh, Coach
So I want to
Reese,
make sure we stop that before that. Yeah.
I thought full seed meant like this when you put in the seed in the ground, like before it ever grows. That's why I got a little confused.
I thought pod was another word for seed.
Yeah, me too. But then I
Yeah, so don't don't get confused. And I think so. If you look over here to this picture here, right? It talks about the flower, it talks about the leaf, it talks about the pod, right? It talks about the beginning. So these just like the different aspects of that. You'll learn about a lot of this stuff if you ever take botany in college. It's just pretty cool to learn about it. I didn't think I would like the class. I didn't think I cared that much about leaves and trees, but I realized a lot of things that I do inside my research lab. I need to know a little bit about botany because we're so much more intertwined to plants and things of that nature than we think. So yeah, so I definitely agree on that. So yeah, well, ladies, I definitely thank you guys for tuning in. We are definitely done for today. You guys have definitely stayed in for the entire time. Let's see, I think everyone still in. So thank you guys all that are still here. Thank you so much, Gina and Jakisha, guys, for kind of speaking in. Even if you guys didn't speak, I definitely think you guys coming in next time. Let's make sure kind of communicate. And don't be afraid that we got thrown in. So we got sick of some things away here. So thank you, Mr. Matthews and both Ms. Coleman. Thank you both for joining in. You guys have any questions, you guys need any help or anything, please feel free to don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here at Grissom High School. I know we haven't got a chance to do a lot of intermingling this year due to COVID, but hopefully all that kind of surpassed. I was really looking forward to us kind of doing a couple of college tours this semester. But again, we still, as a nation, we still don't have COVID necessarily under wraps. So we're going to still do the virtual things as we've been doing to ensure, the safety of all of us there. So we'll be together soon. But until next time, you guys stay well, stay healthy. and continue to study. If you guys need any help, if you have any questions about the science ATC test, ACT question, please not hesitate to reach out. You can get with Miss Helen, and she can give you guys my contact information if you would like that. Or I can give you guys a Google number that I give parents and kids here. You guys will like that as well. So you guys have any questions or concerns about that, please do not hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. All right.
Coach, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm taking the ACT next Saturday. So I was wondering which, do you have anything from the Red Book or any websites that I could be looking over daily for science?
Come by my classroom tomorrow. I can give you a workbook that I have, and I'll let you work out of that, or make some copies out of that, and just make sure you bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Have a good night.
All right, have a good one.
Nice
All right, you
to
guys
meet
have a good one.
everyone.
Yeah, have a good weekend.